Hello, beloved family, Bride of Christ, Philadelphia Church. I have a word to get out to you tonight. 7/21/2023 is the date. 8:22 p.m. is the start time. This is through our sister Casey. This word is called The Key is 41. Your words are written, Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth. My bride, I reveal truth to my servant today. Back in June, I placed a key on the floor in Casey's dwelling place. It moved about for many weeks. Casey told Shelley about this strange key on the floor. Lord is laughing. I gave Casey a word, and she took a note of the phrase. See picture. 6/22/23, the key is 41. 6/22/23, the Lord gave her John 3:18. Okay. Sorry. Casey just waits. I give her many strange messages. She notes them and waits. Today I asked my servant to read Genesis 41 with me. We will do that now together. Joseph interprets Pharaoh's dreams. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And, behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine, and fat-fleshed, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them out of the river, ill-favored and lean-fleshed, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. And the ill-favored and lean-fleshed kine did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat kine. So Pharaoh awoke, and he slept and dreamed the second time. And behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon one stalk, rank and good. And behold, 7 thin ears, and blasted with the east wind, sprung up after them. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and, behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled. And he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt, and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and put me inward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man, an Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dream he did interpret. And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us. So it was. Me he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. And he shaved himself and changed his raiment, and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee, that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, In my dream, behold, I stood up on the bank of the river, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, fat-fleshed and well-favored, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill-favored and lean-fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the lean and the ill-favored kind did eat up the first 7 fat kind. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored, as at the beginning. So I awoke. And I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full and good. And behold, 7 ears withered thin, and blasted with the east wind, sprung up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears, and I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it to me. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, The dream of Pharaoh is one. God has showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good kine are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. And the 7 thin and ill-favored kine that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What God is about to do, he showeth unto Pharaoh. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt, and there shall rise after them 7 years of famine. And all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. And that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. Joseph rises to power. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all of his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, Can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Forasmuch as God hath showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, See, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand, and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. Sounds like Daniel. Sounds like that ring and everything the Lord's been showing us. And he made him to ride in the 2nd chariot which he had, and they cried before him. bowed the knee, and he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphnath-Paneah, and he gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh, and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in the 7 plenteous years the earth brought forth by handfuls, and he gathered up all the food of the 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities. The food of the field which was round about every city laid he up in the same. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea very much, until he left numbering, for it was without number. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, bare unto him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh. For God, said he, has made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. And the name of the second called he Ephraim. For God hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. And the 7 years of plenteous that was in the land of Egypt were ended. And the 7 years of dearth began to come, according as Joseph had said, and the dearth was in all lands. But in all the land of Egypt there was bread. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, Go unto Joseph, what he saith you, do. And the famine was over all the face of the earth. And Joseph opened all the storehouses, and sold unto the Egyptians. And the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. And all the countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because that the famine was so sore in all the lands. And I led you to verse 19. And I lead you to verse 19 to examine kine. Hebrews 6:5-10 and 6:4-9-9. Genesis 4:1-19. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill-favored, and lean-fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. A heifer, a cow, a kine. 6:5-10. Calf, ox, bullock. 6:4-9-9. My bride has sown truth of the dividing into her heart. 2 become one. Double X divine spirit is cut out of my bride, so very glorious. And look at Hebrews 6:5-6:5. To break up, divide. Truth. Much truth is in the word kind. Now go to verse 24. Examine ears. Hebrews 7:6-4-1 and 7:6-4-0. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it to me. Ears 7641. A stream. Also an ear of grain. Flood. Branch. A branch. 7640. Flow. A lady's train. As trailing after her. Like the train of a wedding gown. My bride is a branch. A flood of destruction is upon your world now. And look closely at Hebrews 7640. It's truth of our appointed time upon us. Wedding train. I walk and walk closer and closer. I give birds to Casey today. Shelley will share more truths I deliver to her. Pay close attention. Call upon me. I hear every thought and prayer. Remain adorned, my loves. Your bridegroom, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Stop time 8:48 p.m. 2 John 1:6. Casey's bird family. Woodpecker. Okay, so 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine. The Lord meets us in the middle. We're closing the first 7 years. And the 7 years of Jacob's trouble. The flood, that physical flood is coming. The spiritual flood of darkness has already began. Back on Easter when the Lord gave us the word about the spiritual flood. So, and when I was pointing out Daniel, he gave us the word about many tekel weighed in the balance. And, when Daniel gave the interpretation thereof, they arrayed him in a fine robe and a gold chain. I can't remember if a ring was involved, but yeah, that just jumped out, like the connections. So I'm just going to share some scriptures. I do have some messages and things the Lord's been showing me, but I haven't got it all completed yet. I'll try to get that out to you tomorrow. But personally, I got to show you this family. This word is called the key is 41. I've lived in my apartment going on probably right about 5 years. The number 5 for grace. Yeah, May. I think May was the fifth year. So it's either 4 or 5. 4 for the door or 5 for the grace. Okay, so anyway, I just noticed this the other day. Living here all this time. What you're looking at is my mailbox key. It's got 3, 2, 1. And the number 14 or 114, 411, 123, or 41, 321, and 41 from right to left. The key is 41. The countdown, 3, 2, 1. The 7 years of plenty, the 7 years of famine. Countdown. I'm just blown away. I had to share that. That's confirmation, family. So, family, the Lord gave me Ezekiel 7, the entire scripture. Make a chain, for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence. I believe He's showing us we're here. I'm not going to read it all out. But go to Ezekiel 7 and read the entire chapter. It's also gave me Isaiah 43 and 19. Thus saith the Lord, which maketh a way in the sea, and a path in the mighty waters. In that day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of Canaan, and swear to the Lord of hosts. One shall be called the city of destruction. In that day shall there be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border thereof to the Lord. And Joshua 1:14, like on the key. Your wives, your little ones, and your cattle shall remain in the land which Moses gave you on this side Jordan, but ye shall pass before your brethren, armed, all the mighty men of valor. And the Lord just gave us the word valor. And help them until the Lord have given your brethren rest, as he hath given you, and they also have possessed the land which the Lord your God giveth them. Then ye shall return into the land of your possession and enjoy it, which Moses, the Lord's servant, gave you on this side Jordan towards the sun rising. Go read Ezekiel 7. I wanted to make note of this. I shared it a while back about the insects, the swarms of insects, which is symbolism for the curse that feeds on the soul unless one is fully converted in the sanctification with the key of David, when the Lord turns them upright, making them one from the two. Family, this happened in Brooklyn and Manhattan. And Ricky was bringing it up again in this video. And Brooklyn and Manhattan is how the Lord connected Casey and I back in November. And then he sends swarms of bugs to confirm, even, back at the beginning, coming full circle, pointing to this event, this flood coming to New York from that Poseidon missile that Jonathan had prophesied in a prophetic utterance years ago, and Jeff Barley, both. The false flag event that's coming. It's on the American money, for America, by America. It's planned out. I want you to know, the Lord's been showing me pregnant animals. I've only got a couple here to show you, but pregnant dog in labor at the gate. And the Lord's been showing me Lion's Gate, and I told you guys about that, and now it's being pointed out in the heavens in around Orion's belt from Mark Allison 88 that I shared with you guys. So he's pointing to something, and we know that comet is going to be entering into the whale constellation, which is a sign of Jonah. So, giving birth at the gate, family. Giving birth at the gate. The train of the woman, the 7 years of plenty, the 7 years of famine. All that the Lord's showing us, He's coming quickly. The baby's about to be born. Glorified. The bride, the man-child. And He's also given me animals that have just given birth. Okay? Deer gives birth in man's backyard to 3 babies. Interesting. And it's a deer. I know there's a deer constellation too. Well, that's all I have for you tonight. I had taken a video that I might go over with you guys tomorrow. Just some amazing confirmations the Lord's given me. And this is a picture from that video. The Lord sent me 2 big ravens. And that got my attention. And it was raining. And then I seen what looked like a woodpecker on top of the telephone pole out here. And I'll show all that to you. But anyway, you can't make it up. As I was getting these other confirmations, this truck goes by. Cover the earth with red and blue paint. Red is up and blue is down, right? Cover the earth. It's symbolism for the curse. And it's got the 60 sign right there. For some 30, some 60, some 100. The called, the chosen, the faithful. And the car's got the cough on it. I got a better picture of it in the video. But it's got the cough on it for the 100. So I just had to share that with you guys. The curse is everywhere. Alright. I love y'all. God bless you. Talk soon. We're here. He's coming.